mood.
I'm trying to play leapfrog.
Alright, we're gonna do yoga for anxiety today. If you have yoga blocks, grab yoga blocks. If you don't worry about it. You don't need them. You can make do without. We have a few more seconds, a minute or so. Just settling in. Hopefully, technology works well for us today. We have the fans on because it gets super hot in here when we're moving and breathing, and we look ridiculous and we can barely breathe. So if you can hear us on Facebook, find us on YouTube. The sound is definitely better. We have a mic on the. We have a mic.
Be Happy Wellness.
Yeah, it's Be Happy Wellness, and we have a mic. For YouTube. Facebook is just on my phone. It's a little bit quieter. It's a little bit harder to hear.
I have a splinter in my hand from yesterday. I blame you.
I have so many splinters in my hand. Kaylee and I have been doing shop work, so we're like all beat up. We have hard working hands. Alright, we're gonna start on our back.
It was so early. She's like, get up, we're going to the tap room. We're pulling up carpet.
Alright. Let go of complaint. Let go of everything outside. Meet me on the mat on your back. Let's go.
It was fun though. I can't really complain that much.
So land on your back, whatever position is comfortable for your legs. Make a choice for yourself. Maybe your feet are a little wider, your knees drop in. Just try to find that place where your lower back is nice and comfortable. Take a little wiggle. Feel your hips land on the ground. Maybe even give them some weight with your hands. Feel your shoulders begin to land on the ground. You might need to give them a wiggle to remind them to let go. Let go of the tension in your shoulders. Let go of the tension in your neck. Maybe bring your eyes closed for a moment. And find your breath. Starting to lengthen your breath gently. This is yoga for anxiety, and for some people, focusing in on the breath can actually cause more stress and tension. So if you have this happening, bring your hands just in under your rib cage and connect with the warmth of your hands and forget about your breath. So just thinking about the warmth of your hands in this space, maybe you can start to just watch your stomach rise and fall. Trying to let go of tension in this space. So trying to become soft here. And noticing if you become soft here, if you start to bring some tension up in around the collarbone, across the chest, maybe in the sides of the ribs. Just noticing, starting to notice what you do with your own breath pattern. And not noticing to get frustrated, just noticing to see the patterns that we're not aware of. Sometimes just making that mind-body connection is enough to begin the reset. So feeling the warmth of your hands, allowing softness. We're going to spend today's class moving and breathing, trying to get inside, to have an inside experience. Not worrying about what goes on in our head, not worrying about what goes on outside of this room right now. Just tuning in and finding what's going on inside the physical body for 60 minutes. So gently bring your knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug. You can rock it, whatever feels good. Bring your attention to your feet and just start to pull the toes towards the shins and then point the toes. Moving through the feet, pointing or drawing to the shins and then pointing the toes. And then point the toes and take slow circles with the feet. Try not to move the lower legs. So really focusing on making a circle with your toes. Really slow. Trying to find muscles in the leg, in the foot. And then reverse the circle. Really slow. Trying not to move the shins too much. And then hold on to the thighs. And we're going to take circles with the lower legs. So trying not to move the thighs too much, make really slow circles with the lower legs. Trying to find a little muscles in the legs. And then back the other way. Land the left foot on the ground, and we're going to take a really slow circle with the right leg, as slow as you can. Finding all the points of the hip. And then back the other way. You can keep your hands on your hips just to have that extra grounding feeling. And lower the right foot. Take the left leg up. Nice slow circle. Thinking about the hip, finding all of the points, all of the angles that the hip can move in. Find places where there seems to be tension. Reverse your circle. Especially find places where you start to have compensation patterns. So if you find you've been using your lower back, take note of that. Bring that down, feet down about hip width apart. Take a slow shuffle of the knees, side to side. And we'll go into rolling bridges. So bringing the feet wherever they are comfortable. They don't have to be too close to the glutes. Land them, press into the heels, arms, press the back of the arms into the ground, hands can come to the ceiling. Try not to over flatten the neck, and we're going to inhale, lift the hips, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Moving with the breath and trying to find muscles from the heels to the glutes, and also trying to find muscles in the front. So pulling your hips up with the muscles in your stomach. Noticing any muscles that seem to be a little more tired than others. Noticing any compensation patterns. Soften your face, soften your neck. Lower the hips, take a little side shuffle with the knees, reset. Start to wake up the core. So bring the feet above the hips, knees can be bent. So legs up to the ceiling. Press the hips down into the ground. Press the rib cage down into the ground. Engage the stomach. To make this a little easier, you're going to bend the knees and take the knees side to side. To make it a little more challenging, you're going to keep your legs towards straight and take the legs side to side. So taking an inhale, exhale as you squeeze and pull your legs to the center. Inhale back. Exhale over. Inhale back. That was backwards. It actually doesn't matter if you're more comfortable. We're just moving with our breath. So if it works better to do it in the other way, we're not actually squeezing. Our muscles are staying engaged the whole time. We're just using our breath for focus.
love that somehow I've switched.
Notice compensation patterns in the shoulders. Try to keep all this work in the core. Lower core, right in front of the hips. And then bring the knees in. Give yourself a little hug. Roll over to a side and come on up to a seat. Find a nice easy seat position. Get really tall in the spine. Land on the hips. See if you can feel a little bit taller, as if somebody grabbed your skull and gave you a gentle tug. Bring the right shoulder all the way up to the ear. Hold it, start to engage the arm. Bring the right shoulder all the way down. Press it down. Press the hand active. Bring the left shoulder all the way up to the ear. Active arm. So start to activate the arm nice and strong. Pull the shoulder up more. And then press the shoulder all the way down.
I was doing T-Rex arm. I was doing T-Rex arm.
As long as the arm was engaged, I don't care. Let that go. Bring the shoulders all the way up, all the way forward. Hold, squeeze. All the way up, all the way back. Hold, squeeze. A little engagement in the core. Push the shoulder blades all the way down. And then let that go. A little soft shuffle of the shoulders. See how they feel. And we'll come on over to tabletop. So moving and breathing in tabletop. Set up your hands so your wrists are comfortable. Set up your feet so your feet are comfortable. Toes can be tucked or flat. Inhale forward. Exhale hips backwards. Connecting with your breath. Tuning into what is going on inside your physical body. And you can adjust this movement in any way that feels good. Maybe you want to take the hips left and right. Maybe you want to adjust the hands. You can add a little bend when you come forward in the elbows, starting to activate the chest and shoulders. You can stay with this simple movement if this is where you're at, if this feels good. If you'd like to add upon it, you're going to inhale forward. Exhale, send the hips towards a down dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale back to child's. Inhale forward, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. Inhale forward, plank. Exhale, child's. Nice and slow, and not trying to worry about perfect shapes, but to have an internal experience. How do my hands, my wrists, my arms, my shoulders feel? How does my stomach feel? How do my feet feel? How is my breath connection? Have an experience. Stop worrying about whether or not you are in the perfect Instagram shape. The yoga pose, the perfect pose in yoga is when you find the balance between steadiness and ease. When you find that perfect point where you're challenging a little, but you can still find ease in your breath. And this is an always moving point. You move and breathe to find where it is today. And then land in a child's, whatever variation of child's feels good. Land in the ground. And perhaps set a little intention for the rest of practice. Maybe it's just to try to stay grounded on the mat. Maybe it's to stay grounded in your breath. Or maybe you have something in particular you'd like to work with. And whenever the mind starts to get distracted, begin to come back to this. Just repeating this little intention. Slowly come through tabletop and lower all the way to crocodile. One hand on top of another, forehead down, shimmy the hips, let go, find your breath. We're going to move and breathe, bringing in the muscles of our back. So beginning to bring our hands wherever it's comfortable for balance. We're going to inhale, lift the shoulders, and exhale, lower. As you start to move and breathe, begin to tune in to all of the muscles on the back, trying to find even use of all of the muscles in the back. Legs are active, glutes are active, low back is not doing more work than the glutes. Mid back is active. Take the tension out of the neck and lift the shoulders, not the skull. And maybe you start to lift the hands and draw the elbows behind you, maybe even lifting the feet. That's where you were at, that's fine. And see if you can lift and hover, hold and breathe. Take the tension out of the face, soft face. Get a little longer in the spine. Imagine more space from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then bring the forehead down, keep the feet lifted. So if you have not lifted your feet, lift your feet. We're going to lift and hold the feet, hover, active legs, then take the feet wide and together. Nice and slow and with control. Finding muscles in the legs, finding muscles in the glutes. Lower the knee, lower the legs, and take a shimmy of the hips, let go, soften. You're going to take 3 hot breaths here, and you can take it as lion's breath. You're going to keep your head down for this one. So you can take it as lion's breath or just hot out. You want to open your throat. You want to really press the breath for 3 breaths out, kind of firmly out the mouth. So think it's something you need to let go of. Maybe there's something stuck in the throat that you wish you'd said. Maybe there's something you said that you regretted. Maybe you just need to let some tension go in the throat. Take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, out 3 times. Return to your regular breath. Notice any sensation. your hands in under your chest, tuck your toes all the way back. Take a child's with the hips up. So keeping the hips high, just making some space in the lower back, hands connected to the ground. And then send the hips up and back for down dog. Find a down dog and find whatever movement feels good, warming up your down dog shape. Then find the stillness of this pose. Catch your breath. Turn your world upside down. Get a different perspective. Connect with your head below your heart. Long, slow breath. And options for the next pose. You can do this from down dog. We're going to inhale, lift the right leg, and exhale, lower. If you like, you can come to tabletop. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. So make a choice of where you're at. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, lower. Trying to keep everything else in the body still. Just working through the back of the right leg. Huh?
It works different things.
It does. But it takes the pressure out of your arms if you come down to tabletop. Nice and slow, working with the breath. You can stay simple. You can stay in your tabletop, or if you'd like to make this a little challenging, inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, lower the right leg, send towards plank. Back to down dog, towards plank, tapping the toe, nice and slow. Lower the right leg and meet me in down dog. Paddle it out, notice left and right sides. This time we're going to inhale, lift the right leg, bend the knee, and bring it behind the right wrist. Setting up for a little lunge. If you have your blocks, grab your blocks. Find that point where you're lifting up out of the joints. You're using your muscles around the joints. Inhale, forward. Exhale, sending right leg towards straight. Finding some movement. Finding some movement in the legs and the hips. You can open the hips up to the side and back. Finding what feels good. Where is your tension in your legs? Have an experience. Do exactly what I'm doing. Maybe your knee goes over to the outside. Maybe you have some inside hip tension. Find it. Look for it. Have an experience, an internal experience. And then we're going to set up low lunge. Hold a low lunge. So both legs nice and active. Lift the torso off the right leg. Arms can come out. Hold. Be strong. Take a deep inhale as you rise all the way up to high lunge. We're going to pop the back leg in so that we have a shorter high lunge. We're going to move and breathe here a little bit funky. So we're going to inhale, lift arms. Exhale, send the heel down the back foot, lift the right. Inhale up, exhale back, torso down. Funky movement. We're stretching open the back of the right leg as we come down, bending the left, and then lifting up, little short high lunge. Nice and slow, with the breath, with control. Celebrate being confused. Celebrate it being a little bit different. There's a purpose to that. I change it up and take out the familiar patterns, sometimes for a reason. It helps the brain learn something new, try something new, and forget about some other stuff.
This should be a familiar pattern to me. Did this in my routine for years. I don't know why I'm struggling.
Land in your short high lunge. And we're going to go into balancing. So if this is too challenging for you, stay with what we just did. Otherwise, we're going to bring our arms up. We're going to inhale, lift back leg, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Nice and slow, and with control. Find some more muscles in the stomach to engage. Take this out of the lower back. You want to use your core to make this movement.
Still doing this part too.
And then land in our funky short high lunge. You can bring your hands down to prayer if your arms are getting tired. Otherwise, leave them up. And we're going to squeeze down, lower down, dropping the back knee. So find this position where the back leg is super active. Then feel like you're pulling the feet towards each other without letting them move. Now they're really strong and active. Take little pulses, little tiny pulses. Bring your hands to prayer. Lean forward on that front leg. Step the back leg in. Land in a little baby chair. Find all the points of your feet. So send the weight into your heels. Lift the toes. Come around onto the balls of the feet. Make little circles. Find your feet. Move around on your feet. Feel your feet grounded. And then send the torso up long. Remove and breathe nice and simple here. So inhale, arms up overhead. Catch up prayer. Exhale down to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Nice familiar patterns. Slowing it down. Connecting within. And if you would like, you can stay here, nice and simple. Otherwise, you're going to come down with me. So inhale up, exhale, down through center. Bring the torso all the way down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Prayer to the heart. Exhale, down. Again, inhale, up. Breath through the heart all the way down to the ground. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale, all the way up. Prayer down. Inhale, up. Down through center. Halfway up. Down. All the way up. Down to the heart and pause. Find your center. Find your breath. Bring the weight onto the left foot. Begin to bring the right foot up. Try not to let the hips shift over to the left. Maybe even feel the hips. Try and get them even. Bring this right foot up. Pull the knee up. Push the knee away. Inhale, draw the knee up. Exhale, push away. You can bring the hands in, or you can keep the hands at the hips. Bring this right leg up, hold and hover. Lower the right leg down, tap it out. Inhale up and swan dive it down. Touch the earth. Right foot back, left foot back, high plank. Breathe and hold or meet me in child's. Breathe and hold for the challenge. So start to get connected from the feet to the crown of the head. Maybe a little bend in the knees to get more energy through the legs. Core engaged. Breathe and hold. More room for the wrists. Maybe bend the elbows. Maybe take the hands out wider. Find your challenge point. And then lower the knees. Send the hips back. Find a child's. Tuck the toes, meet me in down dog. And set up, find your down dog. Connect with your head below your heart. And again, choice to come from tabletop for inhale, lifting the left leg and lowering, or doing it into down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift.
There's glass on my mat.
Exhale, lower.
Let's stay with this.
Staying with this simple movement, trying to keep the torso strong and still, just moving through the left leg. Or if you want to build upon this, you're going to inhale, lift three-legged dog. Exhale, lower the leg, come towards plank. Inhale, lift three-legged dog. Exhale, lower, tap the toe, plank. Lower the leg and meet in down dog. Find your breath. And then inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Bring it behind the right. Left wrist. Find your point for low lunge. Inhaling forward and exhaling, sending left leg towards straight. Finding the places where you are holding tension in your legs, in your hips, maybe in your lower back. Soften your face. And then find low lunge. Set up in a strong low lunge. Torso lifted off the left knee. Legs are active and strong. And then deep inhale as you rose up, high lunge. And then we're going to do our short high lunge, funky short high lunge, lifting up. Exhale, torso down, toes lift on the left foot. Inhale up, toes lift on the left foot. This Find the rhythm. Find your funky, short highland. An option to repeat that movement or find the challenge. We're going to inhale forward, lift back leg, exhale back. Inhale forward, lift, exhale back. Lifting the toes on the front foot. Slow and with control, not using momentum, but using your muscle. Find your funky short high lunge. Arms can stay up, come to the hips if they're tired. We're going to set up, lowering that right leg nice and low, strong. Pull the feet towards each other. So really strong legs, really pulling the feet. And then little pulses here. Staying in tune with your breath, in tune with what's going on inside. Hands to prayer, weight onto the left leg, draw the right leg forward, little baby chair. We're going to move and breathe in our chair. So inhale, arms up, connect, long body. Exhale, sink your hips into chair, heart to heart. Inhale up. Exhale, sink. And options to build on this. You can stay with simple, or you can begin to lift the heels. Challenge the legs a little more, lifting the heels up. Exhale, lower as slow as you can. Bring it down to a small chair, baby chair. So sitting into your chair, engage. Loosen the lower back a little. Bring some more strength into the front. Strengthen in front of the hips. Pull your hip bones together. Pull your stomach towards your spine. No, you can't actually move your hip bones with your muscles. Breathe and hold. Find that moment where you really want to come out of this pose and breathe through it. Challenge yourself to stay a little longer. And then bring the body up. We're going to bring the weight into the right leg. Lifting the left, strong left leg. Hips even, stomach engaged. Inhale, bring the leg up. Exhale, push it away. Bring the hands in, pulling in and pushing away. Think of something you need to burn up and let go of. Think of fire breath. Bring it up, hold. Strong leg. Challenge your bones. And bring it down, tap it out. Loosen the legs. Land about hip width apart. We're going to swing our arms left to right. Sway, let go. Think about swishing, clearing our space, cleaning our energy, letting go. Bring it back to center, feet about hip width apart. Bring the arms up overhead, reach up nice and tall, a little bit wide with the arms. Land in your feet so your legs are strong in the ground, almost like you're trying to tear them out apart with your feet. Legs super, super strong. Take a deep inhale with the exhale. We're going to tilt the torso, rib cage up, over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, over. Moving with our breath. Imagine you're squeezing a big beach ball between your hands. Take this movement out of the lower back. Engage the core a little more. Bring it back to center. Lower the arms. And we're going to take big, slow strokes backwards with the arms like you're swimming backwards on a beautiful lake. Imagine the water softly dripping from your hands down onto your face, the sun warming your skin. And then bring it back, hands to prayer, heart center. Find mountain pose and maybe even close your eyes. See if you can find all of the little micro adjustments that happen as we stand on our own 2 feet. And without opening your eyes, bring the heels in to touch. Toes in, big toes in to touch, heels in to touch, knees touch. Again, see if you can find all the little micro adjustments that happen as we stand on our own 2 feet, a little bit different. Without opening the eyes, see if you can bring the right foot to the ball of the foot. Maybe even lift to the toes of the right foot. Challenge yourself, challenge your balance. Maybe even bring your toes up off the ground for a little hover. Challenge to keep your eyes closed. Bring that down. See if you can reset. A little more attention in the lower core. Squeeze in the lower core to keep your center of gravity. Feel where you are in space. Bring the left foot to the ball of the foot. Really, the trick is to keep the hips even. Don't throw that right hip out to balance. Keep the hips even and the core strong. And maybe bring the left foot to the toes of the left foot. Maybe even pop up the left foot without opening the eyes. Challenge your balance. And then let that go and tap it out. Loosen out. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, swan dive it down. This time, left foot back, right foot back, and feel free to just meet me in child's or find the challenge. We're going to bring our hands really wide. We're going to hold in a long plank, get strong. Then take the feet wide, so feet mat width. Hold and strong. Try not to lock the knees, get longer as if you're getting taller from the heels to the crown of the head. Breathe and hold. Lower the right knee down, hover, back. Left knee down, hover. Try not to move the hips too much. Work the legs, work the chest, work the core. Find the challenge. Both knees to a hover and back. Hover and back. And then lower the knees. Find yourself in a child's pose. Let go. This is all the hard work is done, child. So soften and let go. Find your breath. Take a little check-in. Notice what feels different from when we began practice. Bring the torso up and swing the legs out.
Why are you facing that way? That's not right.
She's trying to go to her back. You still have a little bit of time. Alright, so legs out wide. So find the comfortable position, not pushing your legs to the point where you're hurting. So find nice wide legs. Press the heels in, lift the knees just a little. There's another trick for those of you that find yourselves locking into the back of your knees. You can throw a towel in underneath the knee just to keep your tension on nice soft knee. So, bringing yourself to that point where your legs feel a little open, feel a little bit of warmth in the inner thighs, and then move left and right. So move the hips, move the legs, feel a little movement left and right.
My leg slingshot forward.
We're going to turn and we're going to look at the left leg. We're going to reach our right arm all the way up. We're going to cross it over the left leg, reaching towards the foot. Wherever this hand lands, just feel a little opening right across that right side into the top of the right hip. So that's where we're looking for. Find a little movement. Mindful of any tweaks. So whenever we're moving, we're looking to find muscle feedback. If we find pinching or tingling, that's nerve feedback, back off. Do not push into nerve feedback. Staying here, maybe you can feel like you're going to lift your chest through underneath that right shoulder. So looking, pressing your chest under, lifting and lengthening that right side and across the top of the right hip a little more. Rest your head, take the tension out of your neck. Slowly bring it back up. Looking at this left leg, you may need to wiggle it in a little closer to the right. You're going to lift and hover. Watch for compensation patterns here. So you want to bring your stomach active, your legs strong, and try not to use your lower back to do all the work. Lift and hover, and then lower. Lift, hover, and lower. This is actually really hard. You're not going to get the leg very high unless you're using too much of your lower back. Squeeze the core. Bring the foot in closer if you can't lift it at all. And if you can't lift it at all, as long as you're activating the muscles, that works too. Bring it down. Shuffle the legs.
It should feel like the second worst thing you've ever done. It's only second to Malasana. So.
I didn't do Malasana for you. Turn and look at the right leg. So set up. Look at the right leg. Left arm really long. Reach over. Cross over the other side. So touching the right side of the left leg wherever it meets. And then finding a little opening, a little pull across the left side body all the way down into the top of the left hip. Find some space. Find some movement. And then imagine you're pulling your chest through underneath the left shoulder. Rest the head. Take the tension out of the neck. Slowly bring the upper body back up. Looking at this right neck, maybe pulling it in a little more. We're going to lift and hover. Little lift and hovers. Activating hip flexors. Lower core. Top of the right thigh. Maybe squeeze the foot. Take the tension out of the face. Stop cursing the teacher. Let it go. Shuffle the legs up. And make your way to your final resting pose. So taking your time and choosing what you would like to be in for your final pose. Lots of choices. You can be in crocodile. You can be in Shavasana. You can have your feet down, knees up, and let your knees fall in. Soften your lower back. And put your legs up on a chair, on a cushion. Start to settle in. I'm getting summoned to bring blanket. So landing on the ground, all the work is done. Take a moment to take that thought in. The work is done. Whatever pose you have chosen for your resting pose should be a resting pose, not a stretching pose. Sometimes we have this concept that we'd like to push ourselves a little more. And we bring the soles of our feet together and we want to open up those hips. We want open hips and we're going to push ourselves just a little bit more, even in our relaxation pose. Try to back off that. This is yoga for anxiety. So we're trying to pull ourselves back. We push, 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 and that's okay. But occasionally we need to pull back. We need to assess, we need to soften, we need to know what's going on. We cannot just keep pushing through. Eventually our body will put on the brakes and tell us it's had enough. We're going to listen to our body, listen to all the little messages it's sending before it's too late. So we come to these resting poses and we take time in these resting poses for the purpose of listening to our body. And that doesn't mean just your physical body. This is a time for listening to all of the layers, the energetic layer, the physical layer, the mental layer, the emotional layer, the intuitive layer, and the connection to our bliss layer. And that can be your connection to your own higher power. It can be your connection to something greater than you. It can simply be feeling connected to the energy in the universe. Starting to land really on the ground in this present moment. Perhaps taking a moment to say to yourself, right here in this moment, all of my needs are met. For the next few moments, it is okay to switch off, to turn off, and just be with what is present. Noticing what is present. Trying not to judge whether it should or should not be present. And then sitting patiently with whatever is present. I'm going to read from the Radiance Sutra. Ravenous with hunger, exploding with joy, sneezing uncontrollably, burning with desire, reeling with amazement, staggered by grief, fleeing from danger, desperately lost. Intensity awakens, wild attentiveness everywhere. Ride the shockwave inward to touch the great self, the power from which you arise. We're coming up on the 60-minute mark. So if you have somewhere that you need to be or something you need to do, begin to return to present moment. If you have a little time, take a little more time. Take a little more rest. Giving yourself time to be present for yourself. Giving yourself permission for time and space. And when you're ready to come out, roll on over to a fetal position, whatever side is calling to you. Going slow, bringing a knee in at a time. And curling up in a little ball. Grounding down and arriving back in the room. And taking a moment to connect to that power within. Our light within, our bliss layer. Knowing that it's there underneath all the layers of judgment we place upon ourselves, underneath all of our experiences, our light within. Coming to a seated position, finish with your hands a prayer in heart space. This gesture of bringing your left and right sides to meet in front of your heart. This gesture of accepting yourself as whole and complete, precisely as you are. May we know love, light, and connection. May we all allow our love to shine. Judge ourselves a little less so that we may be kinder to others. Thanks for joining us.